Hello friends, this is Saurabh here, back again at Progressive Coder. Do you remember the day when people used to avoid writing functional components in React because they weren't sure whether down the line they will need to use state in that particular component? So basically everyone is stuck to class components so that it was safe for them to add state capabilities whenever they needed. Well, with the introduction of React hooks, everything has changed. With React hooks, you can basically use state in functional components as well. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the UseState hooks to handle state in your React functional component and how that can really scale up very well if you're trying to use it even across your application. If you haven't liked or subscribed to this channel till now, I will request you to please go ahead and subscribe and also press the bell icon so that you get notified as soon as I upload a new video. We are going to have several such discussion points in the coming videos, so stay tuned. And without wasting more time, let's start writing some code and see how to use the UseState hooks in our functional component. Alright then, time to start using hooks. We'll be using the specific hook that allows us to manage state, and the first step is to import that, and that's how we do it. UseState, and that's about it. With just one object in your import statement, we have the capability to use state in our functional components. So how do we now work with state? So the first step is to define our state variable, and in this case we will have a state variable called name, and we will also associate a function to update that particular state variable, that is set name here. And using the UseState keyword, we can assign an initial piece of state to our name variable, and this could be blank also, but here we are starting with something like Progressive Coder. Next, our functional component should return JSX, and we can simply go for a very small piece of HTML, a form object that takes a name field. So we can go with something like this, and this will have an input field of type text. Value is coming from our state variable, that is name. Name of the field, we can put it as name itself, and that will also have an onChange trigger. So whenever there is a change to the value, we will be triggering a function handle change, and in the label we can simply put something like enter name. And the HTML is very ugly right now, but that's not the point. Now we have to only define this handle change function. So this handle change function is going to take the event as an input, and then it will basically call the set name function with event target value. So this value will be the value that user entered in this particular input HTML component. We'll save it, and as you can see, our compilation has finished successfully. We can now go to our browser and trigger localhost 3000, and yes, we can see our component being rendered. So as you can see, we have the enter name, and then the Progressive Coder is coming from our initial state. If we basically go with a blank one over here, the re-rendering will show this as a blank field now, and we can now update it. So we can update back to Progressive Coder, and each time we are pressing a button on our keystroke, the handle change function is being triggered, and this function is basically updating the state a state object or a state variable name with the current value, and that's how this render is working fine. So as you can see, without using class components or this .state keyword, we have been able to glue a piece of state in our functional component. And the advantage to this is, even though if you are writing a component that does not need state or you're not sure at this point of time, you can go with a functional component, and later on, if you realize that you need a small piece of state to make your component work properly, you can always use hooks to wire up that piece of state without having to change the entire structure of your functional component. And that is the great part about React hooks. And this was introduced as part of React version 16.0.8, and since then the popularity has increased a lot, and more developers are moving towards using hooks in their React code. Hope this video was useful to you to know about UseState hook specifically. In the coming videos, we'll also look at other types of hooks that React has provided. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, I will definitely request you to press the subscribe button, and also don't forget to press the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. So till then, have a nice day everyone. Goodbye.